Coming up on Valley News Live at 6, a Detroit Lakes couple makes a scary discovery after visiting their home in Florida. Plus, how one Minnesota ag business is thriving despite the drought. And see how Minnesota is making big steps in the journey to clean energy. Valley News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday. Some breaking news just into our newsroom. Authorities are now saying an early morning fire in Harwood was not an accident. The North Dakota BCI brought in a K-9 unit trained to detect accelerants. Crews were on scene for hours to put out that blaze and watch for hot spots. No one was inside at the time of the fire. Officials say a vehicle was around the house when the fire started. They're looking for information about it. The case remains an active investigation. We are in the middle of our first alert weather days with more probably soon to come, but our first alert storm team has canceled one, kind of. Let's throw it over to Summer to find out the latest. Summer?
Yeah, Stacy, it was a frigid morning. Definitely called for that first alert weather day. Temperatures in the teens and 20s, 9. That's a single-digit 9 this morning in Bottineau, North Dakota. Wales, 12 degrees, 16 in Langdon, 17 in Cooperstown, Edmore, and Oaks. A lot of us were in the 20s, including Grand Forks and Fargo, but look at the 30s, right as expected, with that cloud cover keeping some in Minnesota a little bit warmer. Speaking of warmer, it's been kind of a beautiful day. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s, and thankfully it's not going to be as bitterly cold tonight. Most will be above freezing, so we have gone ahead and canceled that first alert weather day for tomorrow morning. That was in place for Lakes Country, just not looking to get as cold as originally expected. We're enjoying the sunshine for this evening. Bright, sunny skies, not a lot to show on satellite and radar. It's going to stay that way through tonight. Temperatures will be chilly by tomorrow morning, falling into the low 30s, mid 30s for some others. But Stacy, tomorrow is the start of a warming trend. I'll have the very latest on your weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
Yeah, much better than that 9. Thanks, Summer.
Yes.
Well, farmers in North Dakota are preparing for the next round of harvest to begin. The sunflower harvest will start in 2 weeks or so, but soybeans are almost ready to be harvested. Because moisture content is still just a little too high, farmers say they were ready for the killing freeze many experienced last night.
Some of those fields are a little green yet, so a frost would be beneficial on some of our soybean fields just to help even out the maturity and get it so that everything would ripen up so we could continue harvesting them.
As with many other crops this year, sunflower yields are expected to be average to significantly above average. Well, we've been seeing the devastation and hearing heartbreaking stories out of Florida following Hurricane Ian. A Detroit Lakes couple made the trip, just arriving in Florida today to find their retirement home destroyed. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling talked to them about what's next.
We couldn't even talk. We just drove through the park and we just go, oh my God, that's all we could say.
Terry Schmidt and his wife Judy were supposed to enjoy retirement in their new home in Fort Myers, Florida. However, Hurricane Ian destroyed it.
It's a wreck, to tell you the truth.
Schmidt has plenty of experience dealing with floods. He fought the 97 and 09 floods, but he says those pale in comparison to what happened in Florida.
You get 8 inches, 9 inches of rain on top of a 3-foot tide that's coming in. Plus you get the storm surge of 6-7 feet. You know, that's crazy. I've never, ever been a part of that.
But he says his neighbors are banding together to help one another as they look to rebound from this.
The residents down here are lucky to even be alive through this thing, you know. So, you know, if everybody could just say a prayer for the people down here in Fort Myers, that would be fantastic.
In Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
A bit of good news. Schmidt says their power is back on and they've been getting help from FEMA and Governor DeSantis. Well, Clay County Sheriff Mark Empting is stepping down from his role as the Dilworth Fire Chief. Sheriff Empting has served as chief for nearly a decade. He's been with the fire department for 31 years. His last day as chief will be November 30th, but he plans to remain in the department as a firefighter. Sheriff Empting told Valley News Live today that it can be demanding to hold down both roles, and he'd like to focus more on his role as sheriff. One person is dead, another seriously injured, and charges are possible against a teenage driver who police say was involved in this crash. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says a 15-year-old boy stopped at a stop sign and was crossing Highway 2 just east of Rugby last night when his pickup hit an SUV. The SUV was pushed into a ditch and rolled. The driver was thrown from the vehicle and died. He was a 43-year-old man from New Jersey. His passenger was badly hurt and rushed to the hospital. The teenager was taken to the hospital and released. One man was arrested after police say he stole more than $100,000 worth of property from someone in Warren, Minnesota. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says that happened on Monday. 42-year-old Christopher Wilson was arrested after the investigation. The property was returned to the owner. Wilson is being charged with burglary, felony theft, and 2 counts of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. A Democratic candidate endorsed for North Dakota's District 24 in the upcoming election has been arrested for simple assault. The Barnes County State's Attorney's Office has charged 33-year-old Caitlin Marie Huss with the misdemeanor. Valley City police officers responded to a call for service at Boomer's Corner Keg on East Main Street in Valley City just after 2:30 this morning. A man called police to report he'd been assaulted. According to court documents, the man claims Huss punched him in the face and ripped out some of his hair. In the police report, officers note scratches bleeding on the man's face. A group has been formed to oppose a ballot measure that would legalize recreational marijuana statewide. Healthy and Productive North Dakota, which is spearheaded by Fargo addiction counselor Christy Spooner, filed paperwork Wednesday to publicly oppose the measure. Spooner chaired a committee by the same name the last time recreational cannabis was on the ballot. And the organization believes if it's legalized this time, marijuana will find its way into the hands of children.
Every state has a law against targeting youth with child-friendly products, yet the industry is able to sell gummy bears, pink lemonade flavors. So the industry is able to lobby effectively around regulations, no matter what they are, because they have billions of dollars literally to spend for their profits.
The ballot measure would legalize cannabis for people 21 and older. In 2018, voters rejected a recreational marijuana measure by a vote of 59% to 41%. Election day is November 8th. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is shutting down a fraudulent student loan debt settlement company. The company, Student Aid Group, will pay the state $15,000 to refund to Minnesota consumers, providing them with full refunds. It was offering student loan forgiveness, but only the federal government can forgive federal student loans. In reality, Ellison says all the company did was enroll students in federal repayment programs so consumers can enroll themselves in the same thing for free. Then it pocketed both initial and monthly fees for doing that. The Attorney General encourages anyone who's been victimized by Student Aid Group or any student loan relief company to contact his office. If you're wanting to get in on some homecoming action this weekend, both MSUM and Concordia in Moorhead are celebrating. Over at Minnesota State Coronation, the burning of the M and fireworks start just after 8:30 tonight at Nemzik Field. Concordia is hosting their homecoming banquet tonight. Then tomorrow there's a Cobber 5K fun run followed by the homecoming parade at 11 a.m. The parade will go from Townsite Center near McDonald's to Jake Christensen Stadium. Later here on Valley News Live at 6, the drought in Minnesota hasn't been a bad deal for one business. We'll have details on why.
And the fall colors are vibrant across the valley. Check out this photo from Buffalo River State Park. But the colors, they're also fleeting. Some are at their peak already. Don't miss it. I'll have your leaf peeping forecast for the weekend after the break.